Good day. I'm Carel Wessels from Glen here in Bloemfontein. I'm at the ARC, the Natural Resources and Engineering Department. Now, we had a few years that we did research on rainwater harvesting, and we will discuss it today. Firstly, we have a problem in agriculture in South Africa where poverty and food insecurity is generic. South Africa has adversity of poverty, and we have a low and erratic rainfall in some areas in South Africa where the clay soils is highly unproductive with their water losses, and the conventional tillage is a risky and unsustainable method, and this contributes to these constant crop failures. If you look at the rainwater harvesting overall, it is a system where the rainwater is diverted from unproductive catchment into the target area where it will be used more productively. Now, this increases the soil water content around the crop, which increases the survival percentage of these crops, and you will see the higher yields that will occur. If you look at the rainwater harvesting, it's normally divided in 3 subdivisions according to location of these catchments. If you look there on the top on your right hand side, the infield rainwater harvesting is collected from within the catchment boundary in a land where these crops are planted. The exfield runoff is collected from outside these catchment boundaries, for instance from a hill or a road. On the bottom there you find a non-field rainwater harvesting where this water is collected from the roof into a dam or a tank. Now, at the ARC, we had a solution where we combine, for instance, the infield rainwater harvesting with the roof rainwater harvesting. The big problem is the low crop production due to water scarcity on a clay soil. And in these areas, food scarcity comes in the winter months. Now, with the infield rainwater harvesting, you minimize the water losses due to runoff. You get a higher soil water content, and the harvesting of the crops is very higher crop yields. This is just a few photos to show you the roof water harvesting, where that man on the left hand side is collecting the water in a water can and is then taken on your right hand side to the field, to the crops for supplementary irrigation. The roof water harvesting is generally smaller catchment area compared to the X-field, for instance. The runoff is stored in a reservoir or a tank above or below the ground surface. Now you get a tap where this water is accessed and can be protected. This can be practiced in an area, in an arid or a semi-arid area, where the rainfall is 450 millimeters or less, because all the water that you collect will normally be absent from the roof. This is where it just shows you the water is stored and is used for the supplementary irrigation. Now, if you combine this with the infield rainwater harvesting, it's also combined, we will see a bit later, with the no-till, the basin tillage, the mulching, the adaptation of the runoff strip method It is also called where you get a 2-meter runoff strip with a 1-meter cultivation strip or a basin area. It is suitable for duplex or clay soils. It's not very recommended for sandy soils because these basins is going to be destroyed very easily with sandy soils. And extensive research is done over the whole country. We have projects in every province in the country. The yield increases is done with the infield rainwater harvesting. When you compare it with the conventional tillage, for example, the maize is up to 61%, dry beans 90%, and the sunflower to 30% increases in the yields. This is just to show you the principles of this infield rainwater harvesting, where between the plants is a 2-meter runoff area. In the basin area, you can also put in mulch to minimize the evaporation that occurs. And the runoff water accumulates in basins where it percolates beyond the evaporation zone, where it is then used by the plants. This is a few pictures to show you the homestead gardens in our communities. On your top right hand side there, you can see the different crops, the onions, there's carrots, beetroot, cabbage. When we did rainwater harvesting overall, we used also the darling plough there on your top right hand side. The basin, mechanized basins on your left hand side there, where there's no really basin strip. On the right hand side, you will see on the bottom there, also there's a basin plough behind the tractor that makes those ridges. This is an example of the homestead demo plot here at Glen, where we use the water from the roofs into those black dams where you collect the water with the water cans. And look again of all those different crops that we plant in the basin area. When we come to conclusions of this infield rainwater harvesting, is for the improvement in agronomic productivity. The production risk is minimized. You also get economic viability and a social acceptability in the community where you live. We have a final summary. This infield rainwater harvesting is sustainable. It's a sustainable tool to empower people to fight food insecurity and poverty. Thank you. There is my contact details. Really feel free to contact me and we will discuss a few points on rainwater harvesting in total. I thank you.